Well, folks, today I got something a little bit different. Seems like just before we left to go on our trip to Bisbee, our dishwasher decided to die. And so now I'm going to try to figure out if it's something I can fix. It's about 20 years old, so if I have to replace it, it's no big deal, but I'd much rather be able to fix it. So basically I watched some YouTube videos on it, and what it says to do, it says that all the electronics are located inside here. But the first thing you need to do is disconnect power, which I went out and turned off the breaker. Then you need to actually, let me close this up here, you need to actually get down underneath that, behind that kick plate back there, and supposedly, hello Flapjack, and you want to say hi to, hey, here, say hi to the people. They haven't seen you for a while. They're going to need to know that you're alive and well after you turn 12. So say hello. Anyway, that kick plate on the bottom, right there in front of the dog who's hogging the camera, as always. Come on, move over here. There's supposed to be the repair instructions, like the shop manual is supposed to be under there somewhere, and I got to crawl down there and see if I can get that out. But the next thing you do is you got to pull this door off. And see, I already pulled a couple of the screws, and I originally wanted to use my new DeWalt driver there that my nephew sent me, but I don't have the right bit for it. It takes a T15, and so I'm have to do it the old way with a hand screwdriver. And I got a couple of the screws out already, and I use this old this is an old clearance light lens, and what happened with that is I ended up buying that for my trailer, and it turned out to be the wrong one because I lost one off my trailer. So now I use it like a little tray to put screws and stuff in while I'm working on stuff. So anyway, I'm going to see what I can do on that. I'll come back with you and let you know when I get it apart and see if I can walk you through the process if we can fix this silly thing. And I'm going to call it part of my Fixin Stuff series. So I'll be back with you in a little bit. Okay, well I pulled the front off of the door here, and there's only 8 screws that hold that in place. And what that does is it actually allows you better access to underneath. But before I got down there, I started looking to see if there was something. And here comes the dog again. Flapjack, move over here so we can talk to the people. Over here. The 6 screws take that top part off, and that's where the circuit board is. And so I went ahead and pulled that off and took a look at it. It took 2 hands, so I couldn't film it, to see if there was anything obvious in there, like a disconnected wire or maybe a burned up circuit board. I didn't find anything in there, but what appears to be happening to this is it's not filling with water. Now this is a Sears Kenmore, which is actually built by Whirlpool, and so I went on, I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos on appliance repair, and of course a lot of them have to do with different appliances than what I got, but basically what I found one that said the top 3, the three most common things that goes wrong with these things when they don't want to fill with water is in order for the water valve to open, and the water valve is this thing right down there, that little brass looking thing that the light's shining on. That's where the water goes in, and there's a water inlet valve there. But for that water inlet valve to open, 2 things have to happen. Number 1 is this latch assembly up here needs to be latched. Number 2, there's something inside here called a mushroom valve, which is this thing right here. And what that is that's a float in case your dishwasher doesn't want to drain, in case the drain gets plugged up. That's a float that'll shut the water off. Well, if that sensor in that thing goes bad, then it won't allow the inlet valve to open. So in order for the inlet valve to open, it has to have, the door has to be latched, and that valve down there needs to be in the correct position to allow it, and then the inlet valve opens. So basically the way you test this whole thing is you, let me close this. The way you test this whole thing is you use a multimeter, and you make sure that you've got current going to that inlet valve down there, because it's electric. And if you got current going to the inlet valve, but the valve still won't open, then it's a bad valve, needs to be replaced. If you don't have current going to that, then it could either be the mushroom valve that I just showed you, the overflow valve, or it could be the latching sensors inside the door itself. So that's where we're going right now, and I no guarantee that that's going to be what the problem is, but you do have to check all those boxes to make sure it's not that before you find out that it's something else. Now, if you hired an appliance repair guy, of course he does this every day, so he'd be a lot faster at it than I am, but that he would then essentially use the same process. The other thing you got to do is you got to make sure you got water coming to the unit. Well, I'm the only one, my wife and I are the only ones that live here, so I don't think any gremlins snuck in during the night and turned off the faucet. So I'm pretty sure we got water going to this, and if it turns out that ends up being a problem, then I'll go back and check that part too. But two things: had to take off the door to this to get this access in there, and then had to take off that kick plate right there in order to be able to reach under there to see all that kind of stuff. So that's where I'm at right now. I'll be back with you as soon as I got something more to tell you. Well, folks, see that little green light right there in the middle of the picture? That officially means I'm a hero. I figured this thing out, and I think I got it fixed. Let me see if I can show you what I think happened. I've got to get down here right on the floor to do that. This little set of wires right here go up here to the water inlet valve. And to take that water inlet valve down, you take this one screw out right there, and then the whole assembly will drop down. Well, in the process of dropping that down, where this set of wires here connects to it, you can't really see it, but it's right up there. Well, when I pushed on that, it felt like it went up in there a little bit further and clicked into place. And I think what might have happened is this, all this 20 years this machine's been here, 20 plus years, I think maybe that that plug never was seated all the way in there, and gradually it's worked its way out. And when I took that valve out of there to take a look at it and to get the number off of it, I pushed that thing back into place, and I think that might have been the problem all along. Something very, very simple. The other possibility could have been is this thing right here is that overflow float, the mushroom, what they call the mushroom float. And you can actually reach in here behind here and you can cycle that thing. And the little valve is right inside here. Well, what might have happened there is there might have been a little piece of corrosion or something in there that was causing that to not pass electrical current through. As you can see, these wires are pretty small, so it's not a lot of current. And as I told you in the last segment, that a couple things have to happen before that pump will come on. One of the things is the door has to be closed. The second thing is this thing here has to be working properly. And so maybe when I cycled that, I might have knocked that little piece of corrosion loose or something. But the only third thing that could have been, let me set up, I'm going to sit up here where maybe I can spin around and talk to you. There we go. Anyway, the third thing that might have happened was when I turned the power off to it, one of the first things I did is there's a cycle that you can push the buttons on the control panel that's supposed to cause it to reset back to default. I did that and it didn't do anything. So I turned the power off. Flapjack is right there sniffing my ear saying hi. Say hi to your friends. Okay, let me talk. Anyway, I turned the power off, but then I waited about 10 seconds to turn it back on again. That might not have been time to allow that circuit board to power down. But this last time when I turned it off, I left it off overnight and then turned it back on. And so one of those three things apparently fixed the problem. And so I just ran a cycle through and it seems like it's fine. So all I got to do is put the covers back on. And so I think I'm going to call this a Fixin Stuff video. And I think I got it taken care of. And I've got a sink full of dirty dishes up there. I'm going to load it up and run it. And we'll see if it works okay. So I think I'm going to close this one out. I'm going to tell you, as I always do, to take care of each other and love each other. And remember, if something goes bad in the house, you can almost always find a way to fix it through the University of YouTube. And in this particular case, following the instructions I found, it took me several videos to find the right one. But when I found the right one, it just said that this is the 3 most common things that go wrong with these dishwashers. And I think maybe they were right. So until I talk to you again, I'll come back to you again with another subject. And until I talk to you again, I'll just tell you peace out. And I'll give you one more good look at Mr. Flapjack here. He's just doing well. And we'll see you later.